morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, na Thursday, number 3 day for this number 11 month for the year 2022. My name na Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief of the Ambazonian Defense Forces and the spokesperson of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Pass King, una own countryman. Una welcome to our daily podcast, a program who will speak the truth, will bring una meaningful information, fact-based analysis for help we as we navigate this journey to our freedom, the independence of Ambazonia. Good people of Ambazonia, shame it don't fall for the people them where they done the attack the Ambazonian Governing Council for implementing an institutional form of liberation tax within Ambazonia, as the horses with the debacam for this race, they don't do the same. But first, the Ambazonian Defense Forces, they don't make good of their threat as we done the same warning for La République du Cameroon, so we go after their electrical grid, targeting strategic grids in La République du Cameroon to send chills down their spine of their international donors that have guaranteed economic vibrancy in La République du Cameroon. Yesterday, the Eneo electrical plan for Bonasama be brought down. This will send a message to La République du Cameroon that we will bring them on their knees. We will continue to go after their infrastructure, critical infrastructure, and extend rights to their railway. The list is long, including the Chad-Cameroon pipeline project. It is just a matter of time. We will bring La République du Cameroon to their knees if they do not withdraw their forces and their presence within Ambazonia and let Ambazonia go. The Dublin Conference of the Ambazonian Governing Council have authorized the use of force strategically within La République du Cameroon against legitimate targets that sustain its war effort, including its economic power that backs its military apparatus of colonialism in Ambazonia. While in the great state of Manu, peace idan return and joy idan day as the civilian they celebrate an anti-kidnapping operation carried out by the Ambazonian Defense Forces in May 27 in a Koto village, where gangs of thieves led by one Anthony called Baba have been terrorizing our population, kidnapping for ransom, charging farmers for cocoa for money they cannot afford, and going after family members who have relatives abroad. This particular gang have kidnapped for ransom 3 of Ambazonians who are in the United States, family members, and make away with more than 6 million for ransom. This gang group was eliminated by the Ambazonian Defense Forces anti-operation in Manu. Following a gun exchange, one of them have escaped to ground 1. He will remain haunted. And this is a message that goes to all Ambazonians, that anybody who take advantage of the chaos of war to use the force of arms to extort our people for the sole purpose of their personal benefit shall be hunted down. While for inside Bamenda, the great city of Bamenda, the most popular city and the heart of our liberation movement, after the Ambazonian Defense Forces operation targeting one French Cameroon business premises in Sonak Street, thieves in the name of Ambazonian fighters have been going around sharing pieces of paper claiming to have been ADF fighters demanding for support. The number on that piece of paper is 650601234. Please do not give any money to anybody claiming to be an ADF soldier. The ADF is a military wing with an organized executive branch and a constituent member of millions of Ambazonians across the globe. We have structures, we have accountability, and we have transparency. Anybody who wants to pay money to an ADF soldier should contact any ADF officials, including the Deputy Defense Chief Capo Daniel at +852 6117 9924. Call us directly to verify the identity of any ADF fighter or anybody claiming to be an ADF fighter before you make the payment of any liberation tax. Do not have any financial transaction with anybody on the ground or any fighter claiming to be an ADF without reporting to us or verifying if it is a known commander. Institutional approach is the only way to safeguard the national interests of our soldiers and our state, and to make sure that nobody is taken advantage of during this period of war. This particular message goes to the traders in Bamenda and those who operate in Bamenda to make sure we are informed of any liberation tax that are being asked, and when those transactions are being done, to inform us so that we can verify and confirm for them if those soldiers are indeed Ambazonian forces. Fellow Ambazonians, coming back from the meeting in Toronto, the Ambazonian Governing Council have been vindicated in all of its policy, as the policy of education have been adopted by all Ambazonian forces and should be implemented all over Ambazonia. This should be good news to all of our parents and teachers that have constantly been harassed by soldiers who lack political leadership. All Ambazonians should understand and now that it is unanimously agreed that all community schools must go on. Every village should open community school, and if they have any difficulties with any soldier who do not understand, they should contact our office to facilitate that process. All mission schools and all private schools should register with the nearest Ambazonian barracks that is in control of that area, so that they can function, their students without uniform, committing not to be used for Cameroon propaganda 11 February and 20th May, and to make sure that history and geography was the subject that was added, should not be taught, but our curriculum that includes a form of geography that do not have Cameroon connotation can be used, and history that do not involve Cameroon narrative can also be used. All villages must, as a matter of children's right, facilitates the opening of community schools, and the diaspora in particular should help mobilize resources to make sure that these projects happen throughout our national territory. Critics have gone silent and hide their face in the sand in shame, as those who were opposing the Ambazonian Governing Council Liberation Tax have been silent by forces that they were backing as an alternative to the ADF. Mark Beretta, who had justified kidnapping for ransom, who was criticizing the liberation tax, have also gone in hiding. Listen to Mr. Mark Barata.
Just taking them, please, come on, you money start to survive. We have people that have been taken, they go to an amber camp, they can say, hey, they come and say, mommy, I saw these boys in their camp, what they eat, how they live. Please, sponsor. Yes, we've had successful stories of people who claim that they have been kidnapped. When they went to an amber camp, they came back, they changed because they saw the condition in which these fighters were living. They saw the food that they were eating. Fight and live a chop. You did not chop, even if you run. Sometimes we want to just castigate about issue of kidnapping. We must try to also be, yes, we castigate, yes, it's not good. But sometimes you know, because we've had successful stories of people who go to a camp and come back. Listen, Ama boys love the community. Let me tell you, life is a life. They can't go back to any civilian life. They cannot. They can only stop once they have Ambazonia. But they have to feed. They have to live. So they must use other means to live, to feed. So sometimes don't criticize. We criticize, okay, not good. But we have people who have gone there and come back and tell us good stories. Listen, I thought I was kidnapped, but once I saw, say, please, kidnap me more. Kidnap me more. So this is the way.
Kidnap me more. Mark Barata says. He explained for they say, soldier they fit kidnap man because they no get money for chop. If they kidnap people, then some people they go see and say the soldier they suffer. We want to tell the people of Ambazonia, say we don't reject the justification of kidnapping for ransom. No soldier can kidnap because you lack money to eat. It is not acceptable. It is counterproductive. These are the people who were trying to criticize the arrest of individuals who were enabling Cameroon colonialism and working as intel officers for Cameroon, and criticizing the ADF for so-called kidnapping for ransom, but would justify the kidnapping of ransom by a faceless individual. We want to inform our people and all soldiers on the ground, if you kidnap for ransom, you have compromised your own security and national security, because it is an unjust act and it is going to turn our people against their own freedom. do not kidnap for ransom. Every camp have their own methods to manage their life. We are living in a country where people survive for less than $1 a day. All forces must succumb to under political leadership where they can be organized in a transparent manner and can generate revenue through liberation tax and support from their institutions that are generating incomes primarily from the diaspora. Our formation remains a guerrilla tactics and a limited integration within the civilian population of our soldiers. We cannot justify kidnapping for ransom. There is no kidnapping justification. No innocent civilian for no reason should be held against their will for the sole purposes of kidnapping for ransom. Even petty businesses cannot be demanded to pay money without any consideration. There must be institutional oversight. There must be justification for every demand for support by our forces on the ground. Nobody should be above any other person. There must be an institution with a settled head and a constituency behind that institution for them to have the legitimacy to operate. This is a collective struggle and should be prosecuted in a collective manner. Only organizations that have constituencies have the legitimacy to prosecute a war for liberation in a territorial manner that will require them to ask direct support from our people. As the day goes by, the Ambazonians will realize more and more the policies of the nationalists are the only way forward. These are well-studied policies and they are great institutions for oversight that maintains the balance between the rights of our people and their need for their livelihood and their aspiration for an independent statehood. Our people, they don't suffer because individually they want to represent constituencies. You find activists that they pretend to become leaders. It need to work that way. We don't go through a lot. We don't go through a cycle of kidnapping for ransom, which was instigated after my trip to Boya. I asked people then to raise money through those means. Today, we see the same train and we must inform our people them. Now, with the years that they ask every village for Ambazonia, me the soldier the way they did and carry them, me then collect 2.2 million francs for Senam for the group where they don't gather soldier, then where most of them live from Condemning.
Wow, see. Danger from Jukwa. Now, each general, they find the money for game. Oh, now how the money will come? Now, make me know, oh, we take money for our AGAs. Oh, now how the money will come? Because after the war, they work so we get small things. Them. Yes, like if you just small case, or if you do some kind of certain things, before you get money, you get small job with your boys. Oh.
So now soldier and that they talk how they usually struggle for manage. They want to raise 60 million for do installation of leaders. They don't vote some leader and say some general there will be in a ministry of education, so one there will be in a ministry of technology and all those type of things. All these ridiculous things them would not see the cycle again and again, and the contradictions and the various contradictions with replicates of the same soldiers. We know that most of those groups, their command structure remains with them. SOCADEF remains with SOCADEF. There is no way somebody can deceive you that the command structure of SOCADEF will transfer to somebody else. It will never ever happen. So that goes to same with all forces. Our forces on the ground should stop being manipulated by people who deceive them that some NGOs in the diaspora is going to bring them arms. We saw that same deception with Sok Foncha when the AMF was launched. They told our soldiers that some white men were going to come from the abroad and give them weapons. If everybody should just come together, Amazonia will be free tomorrow. If all of us just decide that we are one. Those are all lies and manipulation for people who are in the diaspora, who wants to inject themselves into leadership without going through the process of mobilizing our population, organizing themselves into organs. They want to substitute hard work by using blackmail and gathering soldiers to appoint them as a representative to sit down in the negotiation table. It is just so wicked. We can't be fighting for war to liberate why people are fighting to sit on the negotiation table. That is what brought us to the Swiss deal. When you have seen people like Bohebert of Maurice have almost retired. They no longer mobilize our population or keep the momentum for the liberation, but they are so focused to go and sit down and talk. I don't know what they want to talk about, but we must focus to fight. We must inform our soldiers that whenever they gather themselves, it should be for the purpose of missions, not the purpose of politics.
You ask the thing the corner say, how where you there for Njikwa? I say, I sure say Njikwa then under Momo. And when I go for inside Momo, when I check how many LGA them they how many LGA them they inside the LGA them, when I go share the money into the LGA them 2,220,000.
So, how do you expect a general in Njikwa, a place where right now as we speak, there is no business in Njikwa that makes over 300,000 a month? I mean the whole month. How do you expect this general in Njikwa to go and raise this money? 2-point-something million. To send it for what? For installation. Money sent to where? To the prison. How many times have soldiers been deceived and they send money and people end up in jail? Even the NJ Michael, as we speak, he is in Condemning because of money he collected and tried to buy weapons in Kumba, and they were picked up at the motor park. So our people have been abused again. And we cannot stand by and just stay silent without expressing this opinion. Nevertheless, we support unity. We support the idea for everybody to come together. But it should never be used by some few individuals to manipulate those who don't have brains into such forums. We know that the command structure of those forces will remain the way they are. They shouldn't deceive themselves that they are making some group of force that includes everybody, every force inside. It will never happen. No time in our history will every single force be under one command. It will never happen unless we have independence. So we should stop fooling ourselves or fooling others, creating a bubble within ourselves like it was created in the Zaria Mafia. Anyway, our forces are encouraged to collaborate with each other. The utopia or the deceit that somehow if you all come and adopt one name, become one, we are going to have independence the next day, is all lies by political scavengers. As we have seen, they would justify even kidnapping, but they will attack other institutions because their primary objective is because the governing council have built strong institutions and they want to build an institutions like them, but they don't want to do the hard job. They want to use shortcuts. The governing council was not built for political purposes. It was built for liberation of our homeland, and they are focused on doing that. Everybody should focus to liberate our homeland and abandon politics. We have met in Toronto with most of our people who are behind defense groups. These are very good individuals with good intention, but our people must know that good intention enough is not enough. You can have good intentions but wrong policies. We must adopt best practices and always put our flag first, as we said in Canada. We must put our flag first. It means that things that will not push us forward, we should keep them backward. Let nobody come and deceive you that there is something that is going to push you forward when that thing is primarily there to push him forward. As we have seen the manipulation in just the attendees and the delegation, the selection of delegates for this conference. Let soldiers focus to fight. You are foot soldiers. Focus to fight. Leave behind politics and political decisions. It will never help you. It will never legitimize you. It will never substitute political leadership for what you don't have. For the meantime, as some gather money to do installation, we are dispersing 30 million amber on the ground for purchase of weapons for strategic posturing. This strategic posturing will buy ammunitions, bullets and guns, all of them, only bullets and gun, to reinforce certain strategic units to help strengthen our forces and their ability and their capability to fight, to defend themselves and to liberate our homeland. The dispersion have already started. We are waiting for result and we'll keep our people up to date. Capo Daniel, signing off.